Hello and welcome back to yet another spine-tingling, because it's very cold, episode of Let's Chat, and you might recognize this familiar, fascinating face next to me. Once again, I'm joined by Mr. Shane Ison on the cake. Thank you very much again for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for calling my face fascinating. I think that's a first.
And I do apologize, though, because I feel like we cannot catch a break as far as weather goes.
No.
Like, you can see your breath again. That's literally not happened with any other guests.
Maybe it's a curse, maybe it's a blessing. Who knows?
This weather, though, has been absolutely insane.
It has, and it's like we complain about it every year, but then be living in Kentucky, you think we'd expect it. Tornadoes one day, 70 degrees, and then 5 inches of snow, all in the same week. But yet, as Kentuckians, we also find a way to complain about the same thing we experience about every other week.
That's fair. And you know what? That just kind of goes around everywhere. Everyone's got something to complain about. Speaking of this weather, if for those at home, especially local, that probably know, we got hit with some pretty floodage. Not like North Carolina, South Carolina as they did last year. That was rough. But Eastern Kentucky specifically got hit. And I want to give a quick plug in to Takes Two Studios, a good friend company of the Let's Chat channel. Yeah, words. Because they're doing a fundraising project right now to collect both goods and donations to help provide relief for that. So I'll put a link for that down below. And if you can go support that, you would be awesome and that would be awesome. But anyway, of course, bring you back. Can you guess at home what we're probably going to be talking about today? Something fascinating. But specifically, I figured we could cover places this time. Because last time you kind of touched on Lake Cumberland. So why stop there? Let's touch on other things that kind of, go outside the typical, the norm. So, yeah.
Well, we talked about fascinating people a lot last time. And,
yeah.
And, those people have to come from somewhere.
And an example I want to give, I think you would resonate with your work in the Peddler's Mall and all. For me, even especially as a kid, one of the most bizarro places for me to visit was the flea market. Because you go into, especially our big indoor one, just a rock throw from here. It's like, it feels like you're entering a whole other town when you go in there with all the shops and they have food and concessions in there too and produce. It's crazy.
It is crazy, and you can get all your cell phone accessories. And,
yeah. You could probably live in there.
There's actually a bookstore in there too.
There is.
I won't lie, I haven't been brave enough to venture in those wooden doors to see what kind of books there are, mostly because I'm a nerd and I don't see nerd books from afar, but I just, there's a bookstore, there's a boot store.
Yeah.
You can go get some boots. I don't know if they're used or new, but there's boots.
There's a woodcrafting one where I bought decor for my family for Christmas, cool. But you can buy swings from there.
There's also a guy who sells just Pokemon cards. It's just a little bit of everything. Popcorn. That's like a whole restaurant in there.
No, it is a whole, yeah.
Yeah, and
some people just sell straight up food and snacks, like freeze-dried stuff. Yeah. And there was one, not food related, but when I was a kid, there was this booth in there. I don't know if they're still in there or not. Probably are. But they had brass knuckles on display, and I wanted to buy a pair of brass knuckles so bad. And when I asked them, I said, are these for sale? She goes, you can't call them that. They're belt buckles. Because they technically were. They had the little thing you could screw on the back as a belt buckle.
That's crazy.
But you could very well use it as...
Did you live on the streets, Eli? Did you need some brass knuckles?
No, I was envious of those that lived on the streets.
It is a fascinating place. And then, the people that you see in there, too. You can see kids up to the oldest people in Somerset just wandering around. I only go there about once every 6 months because, unfortunately, it does seem like the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
But every now and then, restock, new vendors.
But let's go out of Somerset. Last time we were kind of stuck in our little small town, which, is good and wholesome, whatever. But let's go, out even farther. I know you've been places. I know I've been places. So, let's dive into that kind of stuff right there.
I've been places, man.
Oh, you need to borrow my brass knuckles? Sorry, my belt buckles.
I just need a shoulder to cry. I will say one of my favorite places I ever been is Universal Studios in Florida.
I love that place. I want to take the wife there so bad because she's never been. I got bit by the travel to Japan bug for multiple reasons. One of them which being that Universal Studios there has the Mushroom Kingdom there.
Oh, yeah. It opens this year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, it has been open, hasn't it?
No. You talking about the Nintendo Land?
Yeah, Nintendo Land.
No,
Yeah,
it opens this year.
Really?
Yeah, it opens in
Oh, wow.
in May. No, my son's on top of this.
Oh.
So like, there's a possibility of travel to Florida in June. We'll see if all the stars align. And trust me, my son's like, Nintendo Land. So he's all about it. So, and I went to Islands of Adventure the first year it was open.
Oh, wow.
So that's back when they still had the Marvel Islands.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel Island was like the top tier. And then there was like random Magic Island. And like random this, random that. Typical subject material island, but like Marvel Island was, and then of course with Disney's, buying Marvel, they had in the contract there.
Yeah.
But I heard that they're going to build a Marvel theme park.
Wait, in Disney or just like
its own theme park, like Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom? It's gonna be a Marvel theme park.
Marvel Kingdom.
I'm there for it, man. I'm there. Yeah, one of my favorite places, Universal Studios Islands of Adventure. Absolutely love. Had some great memories on the Jaws ride, the King Kong ride. Fantastic memories.
But have you been to the Harry Potter world?
I haven't.
Really?
I haven't been.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
I'm not even like a huge, big Harry Potter connoisseur, but I've been there twice now.
Potterhead, as they call it.
Potterhead, yeah. But no, and even that, like, it is legit magical. I got one of those interactive wands. I was an idiot and didn't know how to use it, so I spent a lot of money on a wand that is now in my old closet in my parents' basement. But still, the experience of it was cool.
Now, have you ever been to Pigeon Forge, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So there's a place called like Quests.
Magi Quest?
Yes. So you can get. Have you ever done that?
No, but I had a buddy when I was a kid that did it. I was so jealous.
You get your wand, and then you go and do like magic. I did this once, and it was pretty cool. But you pay by the hour. Mm-hmm. So like after an hour, if you haven't done the task, you're like, what was this all for? But it was really cool. Of course, speaking of places, Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg,
mm-hmm.
What a crazy place.
Yes.
Like, it's a tourist trap, but
yeah.
Man, like...
It's a good one, though.
When I was a kid, I grew up kind of poor, mm-hmm. So we didn't go to, like, Florida and stuff until I was probably 16 or something like that. So we'd just go to Pigeon Forge multiple times a year, like on a weekend. Mm-hmm. And, parents save up and, like, go 2 days or something. And like that was like I felt like it was a second home. It was crazy. Go karts. It was really awesome. And then to see it grow what it is today, it's even more. It's like I don't even know. It's like I don't know, steroids. So tourist attractions. It's just crazy. Now another fascinating place, Branson, Missouri.
Oh,
have you ever been there?
I know what's in there.
Oh, okay. Now it's hard to get to because it's like on top of a mountain in Missouri, obviously. Mm-hmm. But like it's Pigeon Forge times 2.
Oh wow!
And it's like, and again, it's on top of this mountain. You gotta drive, and it's like this huge plateau, like of just entertainment, everything. And it's like you would like, what is this place? Like, it doesn't make sense as a theme park. Like it's crazy, but it's just Pigeon Forge in Missouri, but like brighter.
Wow!
And yeah, I went there once, and it was like, what is this place? Crazy. Also, one of my memories of that place is a taxi hit our car.
Oh!
But anyway, I was young.
Sounds like you were in real misery. Anyway, but going the opposite direction, I've been to a place that is probably half of what Pigeon Forge is.
Okay.
Niagara Falls.
Okay.
Because you cross over to the Canadian border, there's nothing on the American side. It's all they have one building and it's got 3 floors, restaurants, like all your restaurants down here, shopping, giant arcade. And go over to Canada, it's legit like another Pigeon Forge, but Canadian. Cause it kind of seemed off-brand. Like they had like Ripley's attractions, they had miniature golf. They even had like those very tacky haunted houses that are only animatronics. Which for some reason my wife and I felt inclined to do that visiting Niagara Falls, as you do. But it was, and they even had like Ripley's. Love them. I love that brand, especially going to Gatlinburg. But they had a place called a selfie station. You pay literally to go in there. and take selfies with a wide variety of props.
Like,
yeah.
What kind of props were these?
Well, I can see through the window. There was the Minions. That was a big given.
You didn't do this?
No,
Okay.
no. Gosh, no. I'm not that wasteful with my money. No, Niagara Falls, though, just in general, going to, like, something as scenic as that. Like, you see our little Cumberland Falls, which is a wonder of itself. Proposed to my wife there and everything. But Niagara, we went on the Maid of the Mist that takes you under it. Oh my gosh, bucket list.
That's awesome.
Like
did you have to have your passport to go to the Canadian side?
Yes. Passport or your like birth certificate, that whole thing.
Okay.
But you know what's crazy? It's super easy to get on the Canadian side, super hard to get back in the American side.
We're just not going to talk about any of that.
Yeah, no. That's a different. That would be fascinating U.S. policies.
Yeah. Fun facts. My major in college was history, and minor was government. But now I don't like talking about it.
What could have been? You could have been a politician.
Well, you know, in high school, there was a moment there. I was like, I want to be the mayor of Moorhead. Looking back, I was like, I don't think that's a title I want.
I already made your campaign slogan, the icing on the cake. You could have been that.
Icing on the cake. That's pretty good. Of course, in college, you had nicknames with your friends and stuff. I don't know, maybe that was just me. But my college nickname was Iceman.
Iceman.
So that would be like the slogan, Iceman, you know. Well, what we used to do, this is probably too much information. We'd watch Monday Night Raw, you know, WWE, and we'd order pizza and we'd practice the wrestling moves. It sounds really weird. And then we gave each other wrestling names, and I'm the only one that stuck. Like, people still call me Iceman.
Iceman, I dig that.
So,
you know what? Maybe that's why our episodes are so cold, is because you are the Iceman.
I bring the breeze.
So places. What
places.
else? What else you got in the old catalog there, Iceman?
Man, you know, in college, me and a buddy of mine, my roommate Ben, we used to go to haunted house. We try to find haunted places because we both didn't really believe in that stuff. So we tried to like go to places like I don't know what we were doing. So there's this place in Maysville, Kentucky, but there's an abandoned hospital there.
Oh my gosh!
And I mean, and this hospital is probably as big as Lake Cumberland Hospital.
Oh, wow.
It's abandoned. So they remade it like farther down the road, bigger, brighter, whatever. But this abandoned one is like right at the end of downtown. So you've got this beautiful downtown brick, roads. You know, the old school brick roads are really nice. And then you have this ugly looking abandoned hospital that's gated off. So me and my friends, me, Ben, and a couple other people, we were like, let's go see if we can break into that. So we drove an hour north from college, and we got in. And we spent a couple hours in there, and we didn't find any ghosts, unfortunately. But it was kind of creepy, especially the nursery. They pulled a prank on me. My friends did, because we split up like idiots.
Okay, Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah. I was like, the number one rule in horror movies, don't split up. So we split up, and of course they decide when they saw us again, they decided to make dog noises.
Oh.
So scared me and my friend to death. So we started running, which, by the way, don't run in abandoned hospitals. It's a bad idea. So we pretty much hid in a closet for like 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And then we heard them laughing, and we're like, oh, okay. So there's also like these buildings where the doctors and nurses would live, where they was treating like terminal patients. And like the buildings, again, another gated off area. Please don't break the law, people. But you could find the paperwork and the people's names from like the 1940s and 50s on the floor.
Sounds like a HIPAA violation.
But one building we went into, and there were like bottles in like not like old bottles, but like modern like L81 bottle. Like people like been there. There was like a Target board and hose in it, and I was like,
oh my gosh,
like, I think we need to leave.
That's our cue to go.
Yeah, let's go. So again, don't break into places, but some crazy little places in Kentucky I've been. What places have you been around in Kentucky, Eli?
So I'm very ignorant as far as that goes. I know my mom and I, when we were like, we would have to commute back into across the state for stuff. And we stumbled across, it was like this artwork park where you like, I don't know what the name of it was, but you go out there and there's just a bunch of like various sculptures just scattered around. Like I remember specifically there was like this wicker cow. I wish I knew what it was because I would 100% go back there. And it's a list for this year of what to do. Wife and I want to go to the giant forest.
Where's that at?
I don't know where it's at, but do you know what I'm talking about, though? It's that forest that has, like, those giant sculptures of, like, giants.
Yeah, I don't
like, sitting giants, like, they're just chilling in the woods. I'm not
That's cool.
too particular where, but
Do you ever heard of the Little Debbie Park?
yes, that's in Tennessee, isn't it?
It is in Tennessee.
I've seen that's also on the list for one of these days.
Like, okay, here's the bad thing about that park. I feel like if I went, I would just be really hungry.
Yeah.
And then if they didn't give away free Little Debbie's after you go there, they failed. B, if there's not a store selling Little Debbie's there, they failed. So I feel like if I went there, it'd be exciting at first, but it would end with disappointment because I wouldn't have a Little Debbie in my hands at the end.
That's fair. That'd be kind of false advertising.
It would be.
It sounds like you need to take a trip to Hershey, Pennsylvania, because, buddy, do they milk chocolate that?
Yeah, have you been?
No, but I've seen promotions for it. You have
Yeah,
been?
so,
Wow.
So I've been to Hershey. It was kind of funny. This is probably when I was like 14, 15. We decided to take a trip to Washington, D.C., me and my family. And well, actually, we stayed in Williamsburg, Williamsburg, Virginia, Jamestown, Virginia, and which is the first settlement, which I was super excited.
Oh, wow.
Has a replica of the first town, by the way, and has British soldiers that march every hour. So awesome. But anyway,
cool.
we decided to take a trip up to Washington, D.C. one of the days that we were staying there. So I got to see the White House, all that fun stuff. The crazy thing is like the Vietnam memory, the Korean War.
The memorial, yeah.
Like people, like that stuff is crazy awesome. Like people, like there's not enough like definitely go see those things. I got to see, I actually did got a piece of paper and did like my my great uncle's name on the wall.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was cool. And then, but anyway, we continued one day up to go to Hershey, Pennsylvania, because it was only like an hour-ish away from there. The rumors are true. You can smell the chocolate from about 10 to 20 miles away.
Oh my gosh.
Like they just pumped that out of that factory. So it's just like you put your windows down and it just smells like chocolate.
Oh, that's
and you're
cool.
Like, then you go downtown and everything's decorated Hershey's.
I saw the pictures of like the lamp lights that are just like Hershey's Kisses.
Yes, it's 100% true.
Oh my
and then you
gosh.
get to the factory, and the factory itself is actually a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
Because you're like thinking, but then you look to your right, and there's a theme park with roller coasters.
Wow.
Like roller coasters, rides, everything. We didn't go there, but we went inside the factory, did the tour, and at the end of the tour, you get a free piece of chocolate.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was really cool. But they only showed you the part they wanted to show you. There's more to the
forbidden
factory.
parts.
The forbidden
it's like
parts.
Willy Wonka, where like children die and stuff. The Oompa Loompas are hiding in the back rooms.
We never saw behind the curtains, but what they wanted us to see, we saw. But yeah, it was kind of it was really cool. I barely remember the tour. I just remember the chocolate most.
I think every child would be that.
Yeah, but the smell of the chocolate, I remember that. And also at the gift shop, I bought one of those stuffed bears and it smelled like chocolate.
Whoa.
So like it's like you just instantly want chocolate. So I mean,
Wow.
it was.
That's good marketing.
It's really good
It's
marketing.
like, in the middle of the night, I'm going to DoorDash some Hershey's chocolate from my local gas station.
I'll tell you one place I do remember touring a candy shop is in Frankfort, Kentucky.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember the name of the place, so this is bad. I don't know the name, but they make like bourbon balls and all kinds of chocolate, but it's like right down from the Capitol. You can see the Capitol building from this place, and you go in, you take tours, and they show you how to make it, and they actually let you participate in making some chocolate stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And then at the end of the tour, you get a free bourbon ball. So it was really cool to see that and experience that.
Going back to Hershey's, were you talking about the theme park right next to it with the roller coasters? Going back to when I went to the Canadian, off-brand Pigeon Forge, they had a Burger King there, and this was some weird crossover promo because, the Burger King sign, on top of that, it had this giant Frankenstein's monster eating a Whopper, and on top of that was a roller coaster.
I mean, that sounds pretty awesome.
And I'm pretty sure because it was like a crossover because the Burger King also had a haunted house in it, I think.
Sounds like the most awesome Burger King in the world.
I know. And
Or this might have been a nightmare. But that sounds awesome, actually. It's like one of those like roller coasters in malls or anything, something like that. It's like the most random place for a roller coaster, but we're just going to put one
It's
here.
like the Great Wolf Lodge with the whole water park inside of it.
Yes. Have you ever, if you've been to Pigeon Forge, have you ever stayed at the Wilderness in the Smokies, the water park one?
No, I did technically stay there, but I didn't get to utilize the water park amenities.
So, I've stayed there. It was about 4 years ago, Christmas. It was awesome. We just, we stayed in the same building as the water park, so we just walked over to the water park, and it was a really cool experience. But I've been to the Great Wolf Lodge in Cincinnati, once and stayed there, and then went to Kings Island, which Kings Island's pretty cool. I've never been to Kings Island during Halloween though.
Oh, I'd love to. I want to go to Universal during Halloween.
Oh my gosh, yes. I want to go to Kings Island during Halloween. I want to go to Universal during Halloween. I want to do everything during Halloween, but Halloween's kind of busy.
But hey, you go to places during Christmas. But it was like a couple Christmases back, we were visiting my sister who lived in San Diego. But a part of that, my wife and I, we got to go to SeaWorld, Legoland. This is between Christmas and New Year's. So
nice.
when we went to Legoland, they did this giant New Year's bash.
That's
and
awesome.
they had like this giant jazz band and fireworks, and they gave you these little 3D glasses that if you looked up at them, the little light sparks looked like Legos.
Awesome.
And then on the way back, we laid over in Las Vegas. That during Christmas as well, because you're freezing, one. And second, they still had it all decked out. One of their casinos, I remember, had like these giant ornaments. It was gorgeous.
Awesome. Legoland is underrated. Legoland.
It is.
Like, it's. I went to the one in Orlando once, and it's like northwest of Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, super awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Barely anybody there. And it was like no waiting lines. It was awesome, and actually the kids.
Admittedly, they don't have a lot of stuff updated because I think last when we went there, it was like they added the Lego Movie, which is that was the most recent thing.
Yeah.
But there was rides there we went on that were there when I was like 10 years old.
Oh yeah.
So not a lot of updated, but still,
it's understandable.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up, I have a question for you, sir.
Oh, okay.
What's your most unique and favorite place in Somerset?
In Somerset. Ooh.
In hometown.
I kind of threw it out with the flea market, but I got one. I don't know. That's a toughie. Flea market really would have taken the cake there, but I got to come up with something else now.
One of my favorite places is some place that you took me. I've never been there.
My garage!
No. But.
Oh, I know where you're going with
the
this.
bar upstairs.
Really?
Yeah, so do we want to tell that story real quick?
Oh my gosh, yes! That was a wild night. We have to end on this. Yes.
So I've never been before. We just left the Maker's Mill, which is also an awesome place.
That's a cool place.
So you, me, Tyler, and
Bailey.
We all went. Sorry, Bailey. We all went. I was like, hey, let's go to the bar upstairs. I was like, oh, I've never been. Let's go. So we get there, and like I am just dumbfounded by how awesome this place is. It's got different rooms, different themes. There's like a room that's like night themed.
Oh, that's my favorite room.
Oh man, I'm like, I could go in there with a book and just live there for a week. Like,
I don't know how the others would feel about that.
Yeah, it's fine. Just went it by the hour. I don't know. But anyway, it was so awesome. But then Bailey left, and I was like, I'm gonna go walk Bailey, and then you guys came behind.
Yeah.
And then what happened after?
So after that, Bailey went home. You even dispersed.
Yeah,
You were
I
like, go
decided to
pay
go
my
home.
tab off for that Ale 8 or 7,
Yeah.
whatever it was. Which I never did, by the way. So thanks for the $2. But my friend Tyler and I, we went back. And literally, as soon as we get to the door, this platoon of girls, I guess, out celebrating one of their birthdays, they're like, yeah, you don't want to go in there. It's on fire. And Tyler and I were just like, huh, that's funny. Like, they're just making a joke. But then more people keep on coming out. And we're like, okay, this is serious. And then, out of the blue, the street fills with probably 10 police and fire vehicles. It was something with their HVAC system that went off, and they were closed for several days. But that was crazy.
That was crazy. I was like, how did we leave and it got on fire? Like, minutes later.
Yep.
Minutes later.
I'm still bitter I left my rum and coke upstairs. We all had a loss that night.
We all had a loss that night. Them more than us. But
Yeah, that's debatable. But anyway, this is an episode theme that could probably go on for days. Who knows? We may have a part 2. Who knows? Who cares? But anyway, I want to thank you again for joining me on this chilly day, as always. And you all out there, stay warm, stay cool. But of course, that is a wrap.